Good morning and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives, the show where we interview creative professionals from all walks of life. I'm Melanie Perry.
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And if you've watched this show for a while, you will know that we are part of the Creatives Group, the private networking group for creative professionals everywhere. Together, we help you create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, therefore helping you to really grow your creative business. If that sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to find out more, please reach out to either Julie or myself after the show. We'd love to chat to you. But as I said, this is On the Couch. So Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
On the couch today is Richard Parsons, and he's a magician. He's based in Gloucestershire, but he travels across the UK and internationally. He's entertained people with his magic for over 16 years. He was admitted into the prestigious Magic Circle in 2012 after successfully passing the audition process, which we'll be asking him about. And we'll also be asking him to do a few magic tricks. So let's get him on the couch. Hello, Richard. Welcome to On the Couch with Creatives. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Melanie. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're so excited because we've never had a magician on the couch before.
I know it's a strange job, isn't it? Strange job.
Well, what sparked your interest in magic? Obviously, you started as a young boy.
Well, I was always interested in magic, even as a youngster. And I grew up on different magic TV programs. But actually, I really got into it as an adult. So long story short, my previous career before this, I was actually a hypnotherapist. I was a therapist, had a private practice in Cheltenham for 14 years. And it was actually at a hypnotherapy conference. We had an annual black tie dinner every year. And a friend of mine who I didn't even know did magic, a guy called Mark, at this black tie dinner, did some magic for me. And I've been hooked ever since. So that was quite a few years ago now. But I have him to thank for kickstarting a whole new career. So at one stage I was juggling the two careers. So I still had my therapy practice and I was doing magic at events at the weekends. And then eventually the magic just completely took over and I became a full-time professional magician.
So how do you train to become a magician?
Wow, that's a good question. Usually people know magicians already. So perhaps an uncle knows some magic tricks or something like that. There are magic clubs that you can join. Most locations have a local magic club. If you have a look on Google, there's a Cotswold Magic Society down the road from me here. So, or you can join the Magic Circle, but you have to audition. So usually you end up in the magic world by knowing other magicians. So as I say, Mark helped me out right at the beginning. In fact, when I pestered him at the dinner to show me how the tricks worked, he did something very clever. He never actually told me how it worked. What he did do was he sent me through the post a book on card tricks and some decks of cards and said, look at those, show me the next time I see you. And so I have a lot to thank him for. And in a full circle sort of turn of events, Mark was actually present at my audition for the Magic Circle in the audience. So that was lovely to sort of do that in front of him. So yeah, you need to get to know magicians, basically.
Do you find, Richard, that I'm intrigued, your hypnotherapy career has helped you with the magic? Because use of language, as well as sort of sleight of hand and all that, use of language is really, really important. And in hypnotherapy, use of language is really important. So do you think that has helped you with your magic?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. And I think coming into magic quite late as an adult, I was already self-employed, already had my own business. And obviously as a therapist, I was used to talking to people all day, every day. So I used to help people with anxiety, especially social anxiety and confidence, and teenagers. So parents would bring their teenagers to see me. So I think having that ability to communicate with people, go up to groups of people, talk to them, I certainly had a head start with that. And my magic career took off pretty quickly. It was only a couple of years before I went full time with it. So I do think I had a real advantage. I wasn't, having a job before I became a magician, I'm sure had a massive impact, because especially I think there's a difference between being a magician and being an entertainer. So especially if you're going to not just perform magic, but perform it for real as a job and get paid for it, you have to be able to, like most jobs, really communicate with people effectively and be able to change that according to the group and according to the situation. So yes, you're absolutely right. I think it helped me enormously and gave me a really good sort of head start. And I probably use language in my everyday performances almost without realizing it. So for example, one of my key lines when I walk up to a group or a table, I will often lean across and say, "Is this the fun table?" So I don't even announce that I'm a magician. I don't even announce my name at that point. I'll just lean across and say, "Is this the fun table?" So without realizing it, there is a bit of an indirect suggestion in there. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a good time. Then I say to them, I'm the magician here for the event, pick a card, sir, or whatever it happens to be. So yeah, language is super, super important, especially in this sort of job.
Do you use hypnotism in your performances?
No, I don't. I don't at all, actually. I think I did it for so many years that I was glad to kind of get out of it, and I was ready to do something else. So I don't personally, but I know how stage hypnotism works. And there's some very, very talented performers and hypnotists out there, but I don't at all. I just stick to the close-up magic or stage magic or pickpocketing as well, actually. So I don't, but I know how it works.
Can you tell us, for the benefit of viewers who do not know about the Magic Circle, could you explain what it is and then how you get into it?
Yes, of course. So the Magic Circle is quite world famous. It's a club in London. So it's a club for magicians. It was set up in 1905 in a restaurant by a group of magicians. And it's become pretty famous because you can only join via audition. So it's not something that you can just pay to join. Imagine a real life Hogwarts, if you will. So there's a beautiful clubhouse in London. It's got a theatre at the top. There's a museum with lots of amazing artifacts like Houdini's handcuffs and things like that he used. You can actually hire it as an event space out of interest. But so it's a private members club. There's a bar, there's a lecture room, and you basically join by being invited to come for an interview. You have to be nominated by 2 existing members. Then they invite you for an audition. And I did my audition in 2012, where I had to perform magic in front of I think it was about 50 people, and they're all magicians, and there's 3 people judging you. So it's a pretty nerve-wracking experience because they know everything. So it wasn't an easy night, but thankfully I passed on the first attempt. So
Did you do any tricks that they didn't know what you were doing?
No, I'm probably not skillful enough to develop something that's completely new, but they are good. They will give you the criteria before your audition. So I knew what they wanted to see. They wanted to see performance, sleight of hand, technical skill. So they do kindly say beforehand, you don't have to fool us. Just show us your best stuff. So I certainly don't think that I did anything that would pass by magicians that have been in the game for a long time, unless somebody comes along with a completely different act. But yeah, there was a lot of knowledge and expertise in that room, so I'm pretty sure I didn't fool them compared to a normal event with muggles in it.
And then do the members help you afterwards? Once you're a member, do they help you expand your craft?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a sort of full functioning club, if you like, a private club. So we have lectures, there's online videos. Quite often they'll invite international magicians, in fact, to come and lecture to us as magicians. And yeah, there's friendships, there's online Facebook groups, sort of private Facebook groups. So it's a real club with a community atmosphere. They also do, if it's any interest, especially if people are in the UK, they also do shows where you can buy tickets, especially at Christmas time. They'll do a Christmas show. So you are able to buy a ticket and go into the Magic Circle, because of course on a club night you wouldn't be able to go in. You have to be a member. But yes, you get a lot of help, a lot of support. There's a real community, and magic is quite a small world, so most people know each other on the circuit, especially on the professional circuit where it's our job.
Do you have a favourite trick, one that you really, really love above all others, or are you happy doing your mix? But you must have a favourite, either one that you've performed or that you've seen
Yeah.
by somebody else. What is this one thing that you thought, oh God, that's amazing?
Oh, great question. So I do a variety of tricks, mostly close-up magic, although I do stage magic as well. There is people that have seen me will know this one, but one of my favorites is one with a cup and a ball, and you have to keep an eye on the ball, and I'll vanish it and reappear it at different places. And that's a particular favorite. It's brilliant for tables, brilliant for small groups of people. And it's got a real kicker ending that no one sees coming at all. So that's one of my favorites to perform. If somebody said you can only do one trick for the rest of your life, it would probably be that one. I suppose card tricks are probably some of my strongest.
Hold on, before you get onto the card tricks, what's the kicker ending?
Oh, I can't. That's you'll have to
secret.
see me at an event, Julie. You have to see me at an event.
Okay, what kind of card tricks? What's your favorite card trick?
So I tend to do card tricks, especially at weddings, where they sign a card. Now I'll make it disappear, reappear in different pockets and things. So it has to be pretty quick and pretty visual, especially if it's a working event like a wedding. I'm only with a group for a very small amount of time, so I have to move on to another group very quickly. So quick tricks that are very visual, that gets the audience involved as well. So it's always, I think I sent you some photos tonight. It's always things that make people laugh, lots of fun, lots of entertainment. That's the whole idea. And we do it just for that magic moment at the end, that real sort of snapshot where people usually scream or run away or something like that.
So what kind of events do you perform at?
So I work at a lot of weddings. So I'm based in Gloucester, in Gloucestershire, in the UK, in the southwest of the UK, if you've got an international viewer. And this county particularly has a lot of amazing wedding venues. A lot of Londoners come to the Cotswolds in the southwest to get married. So I do a huge amount of weddings. This year I've got well over 100 weddings to perform at. But I also do corporate events. I did a trade show last week in Ipswich where companies will hire me to promote their product. I do private birthday parties, Christmas office parties. So basically anything where people need some entertainment, launch parties for a business. If there's an opening of a space or a restaurant or something, those are quite popular. The only thing that I don't do is children's parties because that terrifies me.
God, it would be as well.
So how do people get hold of you if they want to book you for an event?
Well, the best place is probably website, which is gloucestershireMagician.co.uk. So my email is on there and everything. Or Instagram is probably my most frequent social media. So that's probably the best place to find me. Or I'm on LinkedIn as well. If you've got lots of corporate viewers, I'm on LinkedIn as well. Just search for Gloucestershire Magician Richard Parsons and I should come up. So any kind of email, direct message, WhatsApp, anything really. I don't tend to use X that much. So Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook or just plain email is good. Perfect.
And for somebody who has changed careers, you had 14 years as a hypnotherapist, and changed direction and gone off and totally different. Well, not totally different, but different avenue.
Yeah.
What would your top 3 tips be for someone, I guess maybe youngsters who are looking at a magic career who've always been interested in it, or maybe adults who, again, like you, have always loved magic and are looking to change direction? What sort of advice could you give to people like that?
Okay, so that's a really important question, isn't it? So I think I would say this probably applies to every business, I think, but specifically for magic, I would say make sure you network with a lot of people. So a very, very good friend of mine, a magician, gave me some great advice early on when I first started performing at real events for bookings for money. He said it was something like, you can't hand out your business card if you're sat on your sofa at home. And that always stuck with me for many, many years, that you've got to get out there, meet people, go to networking events like we've done here today, meet people online, communicate with other businesses. So that would be the first thing I would say, is try and get out there and network with people. It's quite hard now with everybody working from home to kind of go out and make the effort to go to events. But I think that's really, really important to actually meet people, hand out your business card. I belong to a networking group called Cotswold Networking, and they're fabulous. They have lots of events run by a lovely lady called Angela. So that would be my first tip. Just get out there and meet as many people as you possibly can. Specifically for magic, if somebody was new or they're a beginner looking to do it as a career, I would say make sure you rehearse. And if you're just starting out, I don't do many free events. I get requests for charity events a lot, as you can imagine. And I don't do many these days because obviously I'm so busy and it's my job. So the weekend especially is my working time. But I would say if you're just starting out, just say yes to some of these free events and make the effort, because charities will be very grateful for a bit of free entertainment, and it gives you stage time. So if you're a beginner magician, you've got experience to go around tables. There's less pressure because you're not getting paid for it. So that would be a top tip, especially for new magicians. There will always be some events where they haven't really got a budget, but they'll be very grateful and give you a bit of promotion. So that would be a good tip. And I think the last one would be, and this applies to every business, I think, make friends with people that are in your business. So don't see them as competition. I've got some very, very close magician friends that I've been friends with for years, and they're not just colleagues, they're genuine friends as well. So that creates a lovely community where if I'm booked, I can just refer the event to someone else, and I know that it's going to be a good magician that goes along to it. So I suppose a lot of those tips would come down to make friends with people, be a nice person to work with, be friendly, and you know, you'll get a lot of work come back your way as well. So yeah, those would be my top tips, I think.
Yeah,
I suppose though, if you're dealing with people all the time, you have to have social skills. You need to have quite an extroverted personality, surely.
Yes, I think so. Yes, you definitely need social skills. I think it's okay to be shy and then switch it on at the right moment. So there's this old saying, isn't it, that the tears of the clown, that sometimes the comedian off stage is actually very quiet or very shy, or the performer. So I think it's okay to be a shy person and switch it on at the right moment. I don't think I'm the most extrovert person in the world, but I can certainly go up a few levels when I'm performing and I get in that zone. So I often do say to people, I do get emails from beginner magicians and youngsters perhaps that just need some advice or something. So I do get contact, or sometimes by their parents, you know, my son is really into magic, have you got some tips for him? Or my daughter's really into magic. So I often say things like buy books on confidence, take some acting classes, do some training on public speaking, things like that. And those are great skills that will help your magic. You can be a great magician, but not necessarily a great performer or a great entertainer. That they are different things, I think. You can be amazing at sleight of hand, but can you then perform that with a you know, in a rough club on a Saturday night to 100 people where 50 of them are completely drunk? That's a completely different night. So so you're absolutely right. Social skills are vital, especially if you're going to do it as a career. If it's just a hobby, then it doesn't matter quite so much if you're doing it for your own personal satisfaction. But if you're going to go out there and perform, absolutely, you've got to get on with people.
Yeah, if you're going to be paid for it, you have to get on with your like, or any of us in business, you have to get on with your clients and deliver what they want, and make sure you deliver it to such a high standard that they're going to want to ask you back and refer you on to their friends.
Yes.
I love the tip that you made about collaboration, because, you know, you do get quite a few businesses that don't seem to want to collaborate with each other, but it's when like businesses do get together and actually share ideas and they create something really special. And it's an element of trust as well. And it's great that you say, if you're fully booked and there's no way you could service another client, that you've got
Yeah.
somebody really trusted in your little black book to say with confidence, right, so and so will come and do your event and it will be fantastic, you know. And that is actually worth quite a lot, you know. It would be all, you know, it's not like you're giving away business, but you're also creating a pot of trust for you in that transaction, because hopefully that person might come back and say, oh, that person you recommended, oh, he was fab, thank you so much.
Yes.
You know, it's all goodwill in the bank, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's going above and beyond, isn't it? So I'm still trying to provide a service, even if I can't do it personally. If I have time, I will say to them, let me ask around a couple of colleagues. I'll see if I can find someone for you that will save you time. So you're right. Hopefully they will remember that and think, well, he was just a nice person to contact. So rather than just emailing them back saying, no, I'm not available, I would always say, do you want me to recommend someone else? Do you want me to try and help you find someone else? You know, what can I do? It's about being service, isn't it? It's a service industry. What can I do? Organising an event is hard work. I know event planners and wedding coordinators, and organising events, especially probably since the pandemic, is really hard. So anything that I can do, even if I'm not booked for the event, that can help, I think reflects on you as a business and a person. So I will always try and help people if I can. And yes, if I'm referring a gig to another magician, hopefully they'll refer one back to me, and that's what we do often. And it's just nice, isn't it? I think being a small business, you have to help people out, help each other out, rather than just try and do it all on your own. Because with my sort of job, it is quite a solo job. I'm in the car on my own. I'm eating at a service station on my own. So you need friends and colleagues in the industry, and if you don't, I think you're going to have a much tougher business life, I think.
The same applies to networking groups like us, like creatives. I mean, we have a number of voiceover artists. They don't feel as though they're in competition with each other.
No, that's a lovely way to be. I mean, some of these guys are even local, but it doesn't feel like competition. It shouldn't be. There's enough work out there for all of us. And if I'm working at a wedding or a corporate event or a trade show, if I can't do that day, I would rather help them find someone else than just be of no help whatsoever. I think people do remember that.
They do. And I think that's a really important business lesson. And for us at Creatives, we're a professional networking group for creative people in whatever creative industry. And we're a very supportive group. And this is something that we nurture. And this is all part of the business lesson. You know, if you are that person that goes over and above and creates the good relationship and the goodwill, it's your reputation that's on the line. You know, anybody watching this today has got some quite great nuggets of business advice from you today, Richard. You know, if you do go over and above, and if you make sure that your personal and your business reputation is something to be admired, you know, you're going to win. You're going to win. You know, there's no point in shooting yourself in the foot just for the sake of it and thinking, oh, I can't recommend that person, or I can't do this because they're in the same industry as me. You know, you need to build a community, as you say, even when I'm sure, you know, you've had bad days, and being able to phone somebody who's a trusted colleague in the same industry, say, it's gone really pants and it's raining and my car's broken down. I'm really stressed out. You know, you've got somebody who understands the similar frustrations of the environment that you're in and can sort of like, don't worry, it'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happened to me last week, it's fine.
Yeah, you're so right. I definitely have phone calls where I'm phoning magician colleagues and say, you'll never guess how bad a gig I had last night. So we do talk to each other. And I think the word is support, isn't it? If you're going to go into business, and I always remind people, it's show business. It's not just show. There's a business behind it. There's hard work behind it. So I think you need support, wherever that comes from. It could be colleagues, family support, friend support, networking support, like yourselves. So you need support. I think it's going to come in handy sooner or later where you have a tricky situation. So yeah, having a kind of network around you. It doesn't have to be a massive network. Just a few trusted colleagues, I think, makes a massive difference. And event people definitely talk to each other, so we need that support sometimes. There's always a bad gig. It happens. It's just part of life, isn't it? They always look amazing on my Instagram, but there are difficult ones as well.
Yeah.
A lot of creative professions are very lonely and isolationist. And one of our screenwriters made the very valid point. He obviously sits at home and writes scripts. And he said, you can't do this on your own. You need friends and allies. You need them. And it's very important. Right, we are going to now delve into that magical mind of yours. Melanie, I can see she was reaching for her cards. This is the Values Jam game. There are no wrong or right answers, Richard. You just need to blurt out the first thing that comes into your crazy mind, or the first crazy thing that comes into your mind.
Magical mind.
I was just thinking it's a shame that I couldn't shuffle the cards. Otherwise, I could probably pick the one that I need to.
We won't have any magical shenanigans here.
Let me shuffle the cards, Melanie.
You're going to show us a magic trick after this. That's for sure.
The shoe is on the other foot. I'm going to ask you to.
I know, it's nerve-wracking.
Okay, I'm going to run my finger along the cards. You just say stop when you want me to stop.
I am not used to being in this position. Stop.
Right, okay. What did you pick? Let's have a look. Oh, this is very apt for what we've just been talking about, I think. You picked the value of kindness.
Okay.
So we're going to ask you creatively about kindness, because I think building reputation and helping others, is kind. It's a kind thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So, Richard, what does kindness mean to you? First of all, if you could look at it physically, what would it look like to you?
Well, the immediate thought that springs to mind is like a very pale blue that's quite fuzzy around the edges.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why.
So you see it as a colour?
I see it as a colour, yeah, but very sort of soft, almost like a gradient to it. So there's no hard edges. It's very sort of fluffy, almost like cotton wool, like a pale blue cotton wool.
Oh,
very soft, very nice. Yeah.
Interesting. Like it. What does it feel like?
Soft.
Soft. That really soft cotton wool. Soft.
Yeah.
If it had a sound, what would it sound like?
I think it would be quite quiet. So I'm thinking of kind of a pale blue candy floss that sort of almost disappears if you touch it. So it's very, very soft, very light. Very
light sound. And finally, you have to ask this. If it had a smell, what would it smell like?
Sweet, I think. A very nice smell, pleasant smell.
Like candy floss.
Candy floss.
Yeah, candy floss, pale blue candy floss on a stick.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And now if I ever see pale blue candy floss on a stick, this is what I'm going to think of. This is what I'm going to think of. I love it. I love it.
Let's see the trick now.
So
bouncing up and down. Before you go, let's see your trick. Otherwise you'll bounce off a chair.
I have a £5 note.
Wait, I have to put my glasses on to see the fine
stuff. So I have a £5 note here. So I'll do a very quick trick. So if you fold these and if you fold them again, the funny thing is about these £5 notes is that they can change in front of your eyes to an American.
It's amazing.
So where were you hiding that? Were you hiding it up your nose or something?
Those are magic circle secrets, Julie, I'm afraid.
But you don't have long sleeves. Do you just lift your hands up again?
I have no long sleeves.
Oh, honestly, I was watching like this. I was like, it's probably going to look really weird when I play this back. And then I'm watching, getting closer and closer my nose to the screen. Oh, brilliant.
Did you have it in the palm of your hand?
It's not going to tell you, Julie.
I can neither confirm nor deny, Julie.
Well, Richard, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the couch with creatives, and we hope to see you again soon.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a really fun time, and thank you ever so much for your time as well.
Oh no, I love it. Thank you for making our morning magical. I'm going to have a really good day now. Thank you so much, and thank you to all our viewers for tuning in. But until next time, we'll see you.